Good afternoon, one and all. I'm extremely delighted to welcome today's resource person, Dr. Geeta Gopinath. She has done her PG in Economics and Applied Psychology, MEd in Social Science, and PhD in Education. She is currently working as Assistant Professor in the Department of Education and Education Technology, University of Hyderabad. Her area of research is educational psychology, environmental education, and science education. She is the recipient of Dr. K.R. Shivadasan Memorial Award for the Accomplished Teacher Educator 2019 by the Council for Teacher Education, Best Teacher Award at national level by India Didactics Association, Best International Paper Award by Council of Teacher Education. 21 international publications and several books are there her credit. She is also working as the NAC Peer Team member for assessing teacher training colleges in India since 2009. As a consultant psychologist in Mukti Counseling Center since 2011, Secretary of Lovely Heart Foundation, a rehabilitation of the mentally challenged, member of State Level Quality Assurance Cell, Government of Kerala. She is also a life member in Council for Teacher Education, an international organization based in India, All India Association for Educational Research, Orissa, individual member, World Council for Curriculum and Instruction, California, International Forum of Researchers in Education, London School of Management, Education, UK. We are extremely honored to have such a special resource person today. On behalf of all the participants, let me welcome Dr. Geeta Gopinath to handle the session. Welcome, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you, Rani teacher, for your nice words. Ma'am, good evening to all. Shall I start?
Yes, ma'am.
So, a warm good evening to all. First of all, I extend my profound gratitude to the principal, the organizing committee, and my dear friends Thompson sir and Rani teacher for inviting me to this session. So, my topic of presentation is OBE, that is outcome-based education. I think that all of you are familiar with outcome-based education. The term most of the people are familiar with, I think. So, in order to understand what exactly outcome-based education is, we have to understand what exactly had taken place for the last years in the field of education. So, firstly, we are starting in earlier in before 50s, etc. We are using behaviorist approach in education. That is objective-based education. So, in objective-based education, what happens is it is a traditional form of education in which it is teacher-oriented. Teacher is the most important factor in teaching learning process. It is subject-centered or content-oriented. And it is given prime importance to rote memorization, etc. So, Benjamin S. Bloom and his associates formed a taxonomy of educational objectives. I will tell you in detail in the second session of this program. Before that, I am telling that based on Bloom's taxonomy, we are teaching the students all over the world. We are objective-based education is there. And later we are transferring from objective-based education. We are giving prime importance to instructional objectives. We are shifting to constructivism. That is, constructivism is based on curricular objectives. And in constructivism, the most important difference between objective-based and that is also objective-based. In objective-based education, Education is based on certain predetermined objectives. So teacher is determining what kind of behavioral change that should be made in his children. So after the completion of a particular class, before the class, teacher should determine what kind of behavior change. So education simply means, as we are educators, education simply means the kind of the desirable behavioral change in children. So the most important aspect as teachers, we have to understand what kind of desirable behavior change. If it is education, the change should be desirable. So suppose a teacher is teaching World War in a class. After the completion of the class, the objective in mind with the teacher is to make a thorough understanding of the acquiring knowledge and applying what are the things he is acquired from the class should be in the application level, all these things. So the result should be, students should think that there will never be a World War. Suppose if the teacher is not framing his objectives correctly, and if teacher is failing to give proper learning experience, sometimes after the class the children may think that there may be so many World Wars. So in that aspect, whatever change that is desirable, there is I have heard somewhere there is a school in UK, they are teaching how to do pickpocketing. So that is also a school, that is also teaching, learning takes place, but that is not education in the context of other countries. Maybe there it is. So education always related to our values and culture that prevailed in a particular country. So in education, so many aspects are included. A change should be desirable. It should be in accordance with the values, norms, codes, customs, traditions of the society. All these are very important in the context of education. So in that aspect, when there is a transition from behaviorism to constructivism, in constructivism what happens is, the constructivism says that the child can construct knowledge. So constructivism depends upon construction, reconstruction, deconstruction, etc. So I know that you may be familiar with the term construction of knowledge, though that child can construct knowledge. And the context of it is changed in the context that it is more learner-centered. Learner is responsible for his learning. In behaviorism, teacher is responsible for the learning. So there is a transition that learner is the responsible for learning, and it is learner-centered. All methodology, all curriculum should be framed in accordance with the based on learner-centered activities. And we should evaluate the children based on what they are learned from, or how they can construct knowledge. Children are responsible for constructing knowledge. After constructing, children can reconstruct their knowledge, they can deconstruct their knowledge. Construction, when we are adding new knowledge and they are creating something, that is reconstruction. Deconstruction, and deconstruction we are coming, there are so many philosophies behind deconstruction. In this aspect we can say that whatever values which are desirable or whatever which are essential to them, they are accepting that, and sometimes when they are become learning something, they stand is only conventional, it doesn't have any relevance, they can delete it and they can accept new, and that is called a deconstruction. Whatever it is there in the reconstruction, sometimes the children will avoid it and they are learning new knowledge, and that is called a deconstruction. So in constructivism, based on this construction, deconstruction, reconstruction and deconstruction, so the child is constructing knowledge and teacher is only scaffolding the child, or teacher is helping the child whenever the child needs help, and teacher is considered as a facilitator. So the role of the teacher is behind the curtain, and teacher should act as a guide, friend and philosopher in constructivism. And in constructivism also there is a problem that it is not based on outcome. So outcome is more important rather than what. So we cannot say that after the completion of a particular course, what kind of competencies, skills the child has. So the teacher can never say that my child has this much of competency, this much of skill. For example, you know that in mechanical engineering, because this outcome-based learning first comes in the engineering section, because in Washington Accord they realized that people who are graduated from some colleges, after coming out the colleges, sometimes a mechanical engineer, he is completing this mechanical engineering course. In order to repair his car, he has to go to a mechanic. Like that, an electronic engineer has to go to in order to repair his TV to an electronic mechanic. So they think that this kind of system, so we need to be more outcome based on what the child, what competency, what kind of skill, what kind of outcome. When a machine is producing something, we can say that this is the outcome from the machine. Like that, the human being also have to produce after completing one particular course. They have to say, we can say that my child will have this much of competency, this much of thing. So for that, OBE curriculum should be framed accordingly, and OBE assessment tools should be made accordingly, and OBE teaching methodology should be made accordingly. In constructivism also, we are speaking about so many methods, such as new methods such as brainstorming the session, quiz down, quiz session, fishing the ball. So many methods are there. That is concept mapping is there, graphic organizer is there. We are speaking all these things. But gradually, actually we cannot say that. Usually sometimes we are going back to the lecture method and traditional method, and we cannot clearly say that which kind of tools we are used for assessing. So there comes the importance or relevance of OBE. So OBE is very important as far as education system is concerned, not only in India. It is now all the world is adopting this OBE. And OBE is first, it was coined by William Spady in 1973. It was adopted by Australia, South Africa, etc. in 1990, and it was adopted by US in 1994. But in Indian context, it was adopted by UGC in 2019. So in this presentation, I am giving three aspects. First is what is OBE, second is what is revised Bloom's taxonomy, third is what is UGC's new norms of learning based outcome, how we can prepare our curriculum, how we can prepare our learning outcomes, course outcome, program outcome, etc. So it consists of three important sessions. So in first session I am dealing with what is outcome based learning. In outcome based learning, first we have to understand what is outcome based learning. So when we are saying about outcome based learning, we have to understand why we have to adopt in this new practice. Because I told you that from behaviorism we are transferring to constructivism. Why we are using this new practice? So we are always saying that we are accountable towards students. But we are accountable, but actually we are fulfilling we have to ask a question to ourselves whether we are fulfilling the requirements of our curriculum. So whenever we are preparing a curriculum, we are saying that when NAAC accreditation is there is a system of accreditation in a country. So there is institutional accreditation is there, regarding we can understand the accountability. But as far as individual is concerned, there is no accreditation process of an individual. Actually, OBE is an accreditation of an individual, or how we can accredit the student. That is what outcome based. So in order to have we are telling that we are accountable towards students. So whether we are fulfilling the requirements of the curriculum. Every time NAAC is saying that the curriculum should meet the global standards. So once we are preparing a curriculum according to the global standards, we have to check whether whatever requirements in the curriculum should be fulfilled or not. If it is fulfilled fully, then only we can say that we are accountable. We have accountability. Second is to satisfy needs of the industry. So according to the demand, we have to produce the graduates. So satisfying needs of the industry is very important. Otherwise, it is not according to the demand of the society, there is unemployed graduates. So we have to maintain the academic standards. So we have wanted to maintain academic standards but unaccredited programs. We have unaccredited programs. With an unaccredited program, how we can maintain the standard? We are accountable to grant providing institutions. In so many
Excuse me, ma'am.
institutions, ICSSR, UGC, etc. are providing so many grants. Stakeholders, UGC, ICSSR, DST, etc. are providing so many grants, and we are doing so many projects. How far it is beneficial to the education system, that we have to think. So based on all this, we need an accreditation, and accreditation of not only the organization, not only at the institutional level, at the individual level also we need an accreditation, and that is called the outcome-based learning. Actually, in order to reach this outcome-based learning, we are suffering from so many struggles. There is student intake.
Excuse me, ma'am.
For that, yes.
Your PPT is not visible.
PPT is not visible?
Yeah. You didn't share the screen.
Now it's visible?
Yes.
Okay?
Okay.
Okay. So, in order to adopt OBE, we have so many struggles. That is student intake. We are bothering about student intake, and the student intake is based on qualification. Quantity is more important than quality for us, because suppose we are for a post-graduation we are taking the qualification. For suppose we are taking a teacher educator for B.Ed students are taking admission. We are not doing any testing whether they are competent in the field of teaching, whether they are interested in teaching, whether they have genuine interest, whether all these things we are not taking. But those who have got 50% of the marks in their graduation, they are qualified for a B.Ed. So quantity, and we are not bothering about it. We are bothering about quality, but when students are coming into our class, sometimes you can see in degree classes, even the mere concept of physics or chemistry they don't have, but they have enough mark. So we are more about quantity rather than quality. We are appointing staff with qualification and experience. We are not bothering about their competency, how far they are competent, whether they have communication skill, whether they are content rich, and whether they have the skill of digital literacy, or whether they have a competent, whether they can assess the students, whether they are aware about different kinds of assessing tools, etc. And teaching process, we are bothered about teaching process, whether we have good theoretical background, but we are not assessing whether it is transparent and practical. So we are giving internal assessment to the children. You know, in CBSE, in state syllabus, in all our education system, we are all teachers. We are giving, doing practical and internal assessment, and we can see that whether it is very transparent and whether it is practical. We know that when we are so transparent and practical, how much marks our students will get, we know. And assessment, there are quantity parameters, but it is not quality based, not outcome based. Because according to outcome based, if it is outcome based, we have to say that my child is competent to do this one. When he is completing this particular course in physics, he knows how to do certain activities in physics, something that is related to physics. Sometimes a child is learning stock exchange or something, he knows how to do the practices in stock exchange. Some people are learning languages, English, but sometimes they are poor in their communication skill. They do not know how to write a discourse, how to do the practical aspects in writing, paraphrasing, in doing. All these things we have to know. And of course we are up to date, but whether it is relevant. Courses are up to date, but we have to understand whether it is relevant. You know, there are so many courses are there, so many courses are there in different names. How far these are relevant, that we have to check. We have so many sufficient facilities, but we have to think whether it is up to date. So these are the struggles actually we are facing, especially in rural areas, especially in colleges which are not getting proper funding, etc. So all these are the struggles actually teachers are facing, institution is facing. Regarding courses, if courses is sometimes how 5 or 6 years we have the same syllabus. Sometimes same syllabus is followed in 10 to 15 years. So whether it is updating or whether it is relevant, sometimes teachers cannot do nothing in that aspect also. So many struggles in front of teachers, in front of students, and in front of institutions, etc. So we can see what is outcome-based education. It is a student-centric strategy. I told you that from behaviorism to constructivism, from constructivism to OBE, it is student-centric teaching and learning methodology in which the course delivery, assessment are planned to achieve stated objectives and outcomes. In objective-based education, only stated objectives are there and outcome is not there. So now we focus on measuring student performances, that is outcomes at different levels. So suppose after a class, in the previous, in objective-based education, so when we are giving learning experience, when we are writing the lesson plan, we are saying that the teacher explains the concept of some concept of centrifugal teacher is explaining. So teacher explains the concept and teacher show the demonstration. So teacher analyzes, teacher conceptualizes, teacher describes, teacher illustrates with an example. All these are we are following. And in constructivism, then we are students gave an operational definition of centrifugal and centripetal force, etc. And there it is completely student activity, and we are testing in the end whether the objectives are stated or realized or not. But in objective-based education, we are testing the outcomes. So we have to get an outcome in the format. So suppose after a class, teacher has to tell the students to make an e-portfolio or a portfolio or a what we call a list of something, or you have to present in the form of oral presentation, or you have to make a PowerPoint presentation on that, or you have to write an essay of your own and you have to create something, or teacher is giving a caption and asking them to, based on that caption, for example, cart is better than car. So teacher is giving a caption and ask them state your opinion or how you evaluate and you give your answer. In that particular case, so in objective-based education, what happens is teacher is explaining the benefits of car and benefits of cars and how there is a transfer from car to car and how it is environmentally feasible, etc. All these are explaining, and teacher is not telling that why cart is preferable than cart or something, what is the advantages of using car, something. Here what we are giving a statement and asking the child to evaluate himself and write what are your opinion, how you can create, how you substantiate your statement in terms. So then he comes with the product, that is he is coming with the product and he is performing in different way. And in because it is objective-based education is really a challenge to really a challenge to teachers. It is a really a challenge to children because we are breaking all the conventional methods. Because in small classes, what we are doing is when the teacher is asking the question, there is a predetermined answer in the mind of a teacher. What is the color of a leaf? The teacher is expecting green. So teacher is asking what is the color of leaf. The children are saying it is green. But actually when a child sees there are red leaves are there, yellow leaves are there, then leaves become decayed, it will become brown. So the child can say any answer from his own if the child can think and they can. So it is breaking. So because child can think in his own terms, and he can explore the environment and he can relate his life to real activities and learning by doing, etc. He can create his own performance and he can come with an outcome, and that is called outcome-based education. So it is completely student-centered teaching and learning methodology which of the course delivery, assessment are planned to achieve stated objective and outcomes. So we have to follow outcome-based education. What we needed is first we have to change our curriculum, then we have to change our teaching methodology and evaluation pattern. If all these are changed, then only we can adopt outcome-based education. So it is say that it is a process that involves restructuring in the curriculum, assessing and reporting practices of education to reflect the achievement of higher order learning and mastery rather than accumulation of course credit. So this is the most important definition. From this you can understand. So now the children are accumulating their course credit. Most children are different courses. For a 2-year courses also we are giving so many other courses, open courses, then the bridge courses. There are so many courses and course credits they are acquiring. But actually what is the benefit? So in outcome-based education, so if we want to follow outcome-based education, we have to restructure our curriculum. So curriculum, you know that curriculum is the totality of experience that the teacher is giving to the students. It is both teaching, co-curricular, co-curricular activities should be included in the curriculum. So we have to restructure the curriculum. We have to so we have to be assessment and report. Am I audible? Hello? Hello? Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am, audible.
Okay. Okay, outcome-based education is a process that involves restructuring a curriculum, assessment and reporting practices in education to reflect the achievement of higher order learning. So, earlier in objective-based education, according to when I am teaching Bloom's taxonomy, I will tell you at what level we are assessing the students. Now we are assessing, creating, synthesizing, etc. we are assessing in classroom. Earlier we are assessing up to the application level only. So in application level only, in constructivism we are following up to synthesis evaluation level. But before that we are doing only the cognitive taxonomy in which we are assessing only that much. But in learning the mastery rather than accumulation. So once the child want to master, we have to follow, because we can assess performance, because performance is included in the curriculum. So curriculum should be based on, restructure the curriculum and assessment should be based on that. Then only we can say that it should be learner oriented or learner centered. So rather than objective based, OBE addresses so many things. So the most important things is what you want the students to have and or are able to do. So after the completion of one particular course or a graduation or a post-graduation or a professional course, what the students wanted to have and what they are able to do. How can you best help students to achieve it? How will you know what they have achieved it? And who are our stakeholders? What service do we provide? Do constituencies understand the objectives? What services, facilities and policies must be present? How do we measure our results? What we achieve our objectives and improving? So how do we address all these things? So earlier we are not addressing. So in objective based education, it addresses what a student will be able to do after a particular course. So for that, we cannot say that he acquired this much of competencies, he has this much of skill, or he has this much of knowledge in the particular area. We cannot say that. So OBB needs products. Through process, we have to learn some products. After completing the course, in our hand we have to assess the products that earned by the students. And as teachers also, we have to say these are the product of my teaching. So then it should be OBE. That is what you want the students to have able to do, and what they are able to do. And how can a teacher can help the students to achieve that? And how will you know what they have achieved? So in order to understand how my student is achieved, I have to prepare a proper assessment tools to analyze, to understand them. And who are our stakeholders? What services do we provide? So we have to, after completing a course, the students should understand who are their stakeholders and what services do the students should provide the stakeholders. Do constituencies understand our objectives and what services, facilities and policies must be present? How do we measure our results? How we can measure our results? Result measuring outcome should be measured. If we cannot measure outcomes, we cannot say that. And what we achieve our objectives and how we can improve. That is also how we can improve. Next slide. So we can say that outcome-based practices. Why we have to follow outcome-based practices? So globalization has brought a clear shift from education as a transmission of expert knowledge to education as a building learner competencies, including learning to learn and lifelong learning. So, learning to learn, this is a very, very important thing. Learner competencies, including learning to learn and lifelong learning. So, we never teach children how to learn. Learning to learn, how to learn. All these are very important. We are teaching so much of content. How that content should be learned, we never teach them. So, globalization, it has a clear shift from education as a mere transmission of expert knowledge to education as building learner competencies, including learning to learn and lifelong learning. Learning should be lifelong learning and learning should be learn how to learn. And that means focus will be on. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, sorry, because of internet connection. So understanding the fundamentals very well and learning new skills, competencies that would enable individuals to cope with the demands of rapidly changing workplace. And we become the global professionals to solve the problems and shoulder challenges which are not known even today. So globalization has brought a clear shift. So now we have to learn new skills and competencies. For example, now we know that from Hyderabad I can teach you people in Kerala because of digital literacy. So because of technical development. So in such cases we have to become teachers should be become techno savvy. They become more competitive in learning new skills, competencies, etc. And prepare citizens for become the global professionals. They can solve so many problems and shoulder the challenges which are not even known today. All these are the challenges of global education. So there is OBE become very popular or OBE become very important. So next we can see why OBE for teachers. OBE is very important for teachers, especially because teaching is no more communicating contents. So earlier it is communicating content and teacher is authority in the classroom. Teacher can deliver the content and students are the passive listeners. Teacher is a reservoir of knowledge and students are but in the information communication age, teacher become no longer mere communicating contents. Now the students have enough scope to take any content from anywhere in the world. So they are all the owners of content and this is a new challenge to the teacher. So earlier the students doesn't have any source, only books are the sources. Now from internet, from Google they can search, they can find out anything. So this is a new challenge to the teacher and teacher is to be able to organize learning resources and give so many opportunities for the students to inspire the students, develop them as a learner and not as knowledgeable person because they can get information. When we type in the computer outcome-based education, we get 1,25,000 or 1,50,000 results. So as students get, they are more technically, because as nowadays teachers are called technical, we are technical immigrants, migrants and students are technical immigrants. So they are techno savvy, they know how to use the computer, they know how to download the content. So this is really a new challenge to the teacher and teacher will be able to organize learning resources and opportunities for the students. And we have to inspire the students, develop them as a learner and not as a knowledgeable person. Because OBE, the responsibilities of learning is in the shoulder of the students and not in the shoulder of the teacher. There is no single specific style of teaching or assessment of learning outcome. Instead, classroom process, other learning opportunities, assessment should all help students to achieve a specified learning outcome. Whenever we are following only
most of the lecture method we are following. Now we can see large number of methods such as socialized recitation, problem method, project method, then brainstorming, discussion, brain stress, then discussion, down. And also there are a Dalton plan, then there are different models of teaching, and there are different models such as 4E model, 5E model, 7E model. There are several different kinds of strategies in which we are teaching, and we can use a combination of teaching. And earlier assessment of learning outcomes, now reflective thinking. We are prepared, the students can prepare reflective journals. So earlier we are giving an assignment, what are the causes of world war first, or what are the functions of even now, or what do you mean by, like that questions we are giving. Now we are not, for assessing outcome-based education, we have to ask them to prepare a rubrics, or we are asked them to prepare an e-portfolio, or we are asking them to write a reflective journal. In reflective journal, what is a reflective journal means the students can reflective journals, they can identify their strengths, they can identify their weaknesses, they can identify their opportunities, they can identify their threats, they can evaluate themselves, their self-evaluation is possible. So in reflective journals, so there are so many teachers, we can ask them to prepare something and upload in the blog. Nowadays, blog is, so many people have blog, we can share our creative ideas in blogs, etc. So, as like in earlier, we are giving an assignment like, what do you mean by this? What are the reasons for this? Or write an assignment about the concept of evaluation, you write an assignment. Or what is OBE, what are why OBE is important? Such time. Now, the no teacher can give an assignment such like that, writing something or uploading some content or uploading the knowledge is not at all. So for assessment, there is no single specific style of teaching. And now we are teaching, the learners are responsible for their learning, and every methodology is learner-centered. When we are giving a brainstorming, teacher should be well equipped. For giving a discussion in the classroom, whether it is a panel discussion or whether it is a group discussion, etc. Teacher should be very well equipped with the resources. Then only teacher has to sum up the discussion, teacher has to contribute. And we can see the different opinions of children, and regarding one aspect, some maybe have this opinion, other child has a different opinion, and we can summarize all the, while a discussion is conducted regarding some particular aspect in a classroom. So different people are thinking differently. So thinking may be in convergence, some people are convergent thinking, some are divergent thinking, there are different types of thinking there. So students have different levels of thinking, some are convergent, some are divergent. You know what is convergent thinking? From different angle we are thinking to a particular aspect, from particular to general also we can think. So we can get so many ideas from the children, and teacher has to consolidate all these ideas, and by consolidating, teacher has to contribute something. If the teacher is also contributing, then only teacher has to say why this child is saying, and what are the attributes of this, or why we can say like this, or what are the additions we can make. And also we have to assess the learning outcomes. So in order to, because a group discussion and outcome came, there are different opinions came. So if teacher must rate the opinion to a rating scale, or teacher can rate it using a rubrics. So there are so many things teacher can use in the classroom. So assessment method, earlier what is assessment method is we are conducting a test. After the completion of the class, teacher is asking some questions. The next day the same process, after coming to the class, teacher is asking what the child is learned in the previous day. Suppose teacher is teaching about UNO, teacher is asking when it is formed, what are the functions of UNO, what are the informations of UNO. This type of uniform type of questions teacher is asking. But when an OB is coming, it is very difficult for teachers. So teacher has to cannot adopt one single style of teaching, and teacher cannot adopt one single way of assessment. And instead, classroom process other learning opportunities, and assessment should help the students to achieve the specified learning outcomes. So in order for the child to achieve so many learning outcomes, teacher has to follow different strategies. That is very essential. So as far as teacher is concerned, So when OBE comes, teachers should be well equipped with the different methodologies of teaching, teachers should be well equipped with the different assessment tools, and teacher can assess the outcome of students, and teacher can say that my student is competent in this particular area, he can perform in this particular area, he can say that. That is the our outcome of for teachers. Why OBE for students? So what student will be able to do on completion of one particular program? So now we cannot say that after the completion of BSc Physics or after completion of post-graduation in physics, people should become the clerks in banks. So what is the benefit of our education? What is the purpose? So a person is studying physics and he become an accountant. And to become a clerk in a bank, only a mere degree is essential, especially those who are completed BCom accountancy. They go for that particular job where they can perform well. And when a person who has scored 80% of the mark of first time in MG University and he joined as a clerk in a bank, what kind of education, what is the relationship between this education and this law, or what is the outcome of that particular education? And second is, does the student need to learn knowledge, skills and attitudes in order to achieve the pre-specified learning outcome? That is a curriculum. Once the curriculum is prepared, all learning aspects should be prepared, because curriculum is a totality of experience that the students is taking. So totality of experience means what is the children are learning inside the classroom and also outside the classroom is included in the curriculum. So knowledge, skills and attitudes. Attitude is very important. What kind of behavior we have. Knowledge. That is why nowadays we are saying that EQ is more important than IQ. If a person doesn't have any EQ and if he doesn't only have an IQ, there is no meaning in education. So with the knowledge, skills and attitudes, these are the three important things that the students need to learn or students need to acquire in OBE curriculum. Not only knowledge, an objective-based education is more important than knowledge and skills. But here attitude is very important, behavior is very important. What kind of behavior changed? What kind of behavior pattern he has to develop? What kind of his attitude towards something? That is very important. So that is pre-specified learning outcome. In order to achieve the pre-specified learning outcome, that is curriculum. What activities will facilitate achieving the learning outcome? That is pedagogy. What activities will facilitate in achieving the learning outcome? In order to increase that learning outcome, what activities have to be performed? Students have to be performed. If it is teacher oriented, what methodology teacher is adopting? And what activities will facilitate achieving the learning outcome. So what all kind of activities? Sometimes the students have to interview other people, sometimes students have to read, they have to search the resources from internet, they have to interact with other people, they have to interact with the peer team and their peer, and they have to interact with other members of the society who are competent in that particular field. Through all these sources, they will organize their activities, how they can, in order to achieve the outcome. How will the student demonstrate the learning? So whatever he is learning, how he demonstrate, that is assessment. Through assessment, how we can understand. How would one judge whether the student has done well? Quality criteria. Because assessment is different from evaluation. So as teachers, we should understand assessment is different from evaluation. So evaluation is something it is qualitative. Evaluation is qualitative criteria. So how would one judge whether the student has done well? So as far as OBE is concerned, so students are benefited because students, why OBE for student means after the completion of a particular course, when we are is OBE curriculum, after the completion of the course, students know what they can do. That is what is a student be able to do after the completion of the program. So after becoming a mechanical engineer, he knows how to operate the machines. Not all the machines, at least he has some, we can say that these are the outcomes, or in these areas he is competent. that we can, students have to say that, okay, after completing this course, I am competent in this particular area, I am competent in this using this particular machines, or I am competent in constructing this type of things, etc. They can say. Or for example, suppose a physics student after completing in a MSc physics, he can able to do that I am competent in this particular field of physics, in which I can do experiments, I can communicate, I can find something, and I can contribute something to the society. That such kind of outcomes we have to say, clear, measurable terms we can say. And what does it mean? Students learn to learn. So students have to learn whether they learn, have knowledge, whether they have skill, and whether they have proper attitude. That should be ensured by the curriculum. And they have to, we can make them, they can understand what activities they have to facilitate in order to learn. What activities they have to understand, because they are the responsible for their own learning. So they have, in order to learn something, if they want to interview some people, they go for that. They want to review some papers, they have to do that. Or if they have to do some experiments, they have to do that. All these things they have to do, they have to understand what facilitate or what activities facilitate my learning. How will the student demonstrate learning? So after completing how we, through assessment we can say that child can do these activities. So suppose, for example, in languages, people are learning different poems. So after learning a poem, the child can understand so many things through a poem. He can have an evaluation about himself. So about his own angle, he can see the poem. He can criticize in his own angle, or he can do an appreciation of the poem in his own hands, or he can make a review that poem, and he can put his own comments. That is the outcome actually we needed after studying a poem. Usually earlier what we have to do. You have to write in the examination. We are doing that the first 4 lines we have to write, line by heart, and we have to write. Or while the teacher is teaching, what is the intention of the poem when writing the poem, or what is the story behind the poem. All this the teacher is teaching, and children should reproduce. Now it is not the case. The children to learn the poem by themselves. They have to analyze it in their own angles, and they have to find out. And how it is related to the society, or what message it is given to the society, or what is the intention of the, from his own angle, and he has to reproduce. And also we can qualitatively assess the students also, not only quantitatively, that is quantitative assessment is through marks, and qualitative criteria may, whether he is coming out from a particular university or a course, when he is entering into that particular field, what he can contribute to the society, that is qualitative criteria. And this is an only framework, it is for engineering section, but you can see that first we have to see the mission, then student outcome, course learning outcomes, and for this course planning is necessary, course delivery is necessary, syllabus is necessary, teaching methods, we can come to this assessment evaluation. In evaluation is done in the 3 levels, that is institutional assessment, it is done by several agencies, and program assessment is given by the department, and course assessment is given by the teacher. So in all levels assessment is done in the 3 levels, and we have to say the institution has a mission and a vision, then the institution has to formulate program objective. From our program objectives, we have to form the course objectives, course learning. Then from that, we have to form the course outcome. So outcome-based system, education system, aims at 2 important things. Developing a clear set of essential learning outcomes around which all educational system components can be focused. So outcome-based education system aims at developing a clear set of essential learning outcomes. So after completing a one particular course, what should be the learning outcomes? Whether it is, so we have to, that is what outcomes we are getting. Establishing the conditions and opportunities within the educational system that enable and encourage all students to achieve those essential learning outcomes. So we have to provide, education system provide enough conditions and opportunities to encourage the students to achieve those essential learning. So this is the 2 system That is, first we have to have a clear set of essential learning. That is, education system component should be focused. For example, suppose when a person is completing a mechanical engineering or a BCom course, what should be the learning outcome? We should be develop a clear set of learning outcome. That is an outcome-based education. The aim of outcome education is first we have to determine a clear essential learning outcomes. That is after completing BCom course. While you are preparing a program on BCom, you have to have a clear essential learning outcomes. So after the completing this course, students can do they can practice accounting, or they can join in a firm and do accountants, or they can become the good accountants, and in which all terms in which all fields they can function, or what activities they can do, or what, suppose they are joining in an advertisement company, they can create their own advertisement, that is, different kinds of advertisement they can create. So, BCom, there is a BCom called a taxation. How they can help the people to pay taxes, or how they can help the people to do the regarding all norms of paying the taxes. All these things they should learn. So suppose BCom taxation, BCom finance, all these are concentrating on particular aspects. Suppose this person is studying economics. He has to do the works related to the field of economics. Planning, they can work in planning role, they can work in statistical department, etc. Instead of that, what they are doing is they are working in any department. So we have to say what jobs after completing this particular course, what outcomes, in which areas they are competent. They are competent in accounting, they are competent in financial management, they are competent in tax system, etc. We have to say that kind of learning outcomes should be focused. That is outcome-based education. Or you become a mechanical engineer, you know how to repair the machines, you know how to model some machines, you know how to do the spare parts of a machine, or how to work in a company of something, or you know how to prepare. Mechanical engineer can do any kind of mechanical tools he can handle it. At least he can handle 10 or tools or something after completing the course. Any one thinks he has specialization and he is competent in a particular field, he has this kind of outcome. Clearly we have to say that. Now when a student is completing, what is there, he is very good in theoretical knowledge and he never know how to repair a car or how to repair a machine, etc. So after completing, if it is an outcome-based education, at least we can say that he is competent. The BCom graduate is competent, at least he is competent in accounting, he is competent in financial management, he is competent in advertising, or he is competent in tax system, etc. We can say in clear terms. And establishing the conditions and opportunities within the education system that enable and encourage all students to achieve those essential learning outcomes. So we have to provide good conditions and opportunities, whatever they be. Because in order to, for example, a mechanical engineer or an automobile engineer, for example, an automobile engineer, if he wanted to repair the car, the second thing is outcome-based education means the conditions and opportunities. Then we have to provide him a condition and opportunity to do the repairing works in the system, practical works, learning by doing. They have to be responsible for their learning. Then only they have to, instead of teaching only theory, it's like a machine. Chapati making machine is producing so much of chapatis. Within 1 minute they are producing 100 chapatis. So outcome of chapati machine is chapati. Like that, a person, an individual can produce this list of outcomes. After completing this course, I can say that I am competent in that particular field. I can perform in this field. After completing my BCom, I can say that I am a good accountant. I know how the I'm a good financial manager, or how, I know the exact tax system. I can help people to pay taxes. I know how to form the HC or etc. such forms I can fill. So all these things a person does, because for that the institution or education system should provide enough opportunities for the learning students to attain the essential learning outcomes. So next we can study what exactly the outcomes. Outcomes are clear learning results. Outcomes are clear learning results. That the teachers want students to demonstrate at the end of a significant learning experience. So outcomes are clear learning results that the teachers want students to demonstrate at the end of a significant learning experience. So you know what is learning experience. Learning experience is a teacher-people activity. What the teacher and students do in a classroom is called the learning experience. It is a teacher-people activity. So after giving a learning experience, if the teacher is giving a learning experience, what the students have to demonstrate after teacher is giving the learning experience. Earlier also, suppose the teacher is explaining about, for example, the teacher is explaining about the different kinds of what we call in economics, the teacher is explaining about demand and supply theory. Teacher is explaining the demand theory in clear terms to the children. Demand is a desire backed by ability and willingness to pay for it. Teacher is defining demand. So after completing the class, teacher is asking what is demand. When the teacher is saying that students are saying that demand is a desire backed by ability and willingness to pay for it. So students are reproducing a definition. What the teacher is saying, the students are reproducing. That is exactly not outcome. So outcome should be something novel, something creative that should be come out from the child as a result of learning. So that means the teacher is saying something and teacher is asking, because that is the old classroom. Teacher is defining demand is a desire, lack by ability and willingness to pay for a thing. So in objective-based education, that is correct. Teacher is asking and the students are saying the answer. After finishing the class, students are saying the answer. So in output-based education, teacher should provide a proper learning experience. So in objective-based education, the learning experience is provided by the teacher because teacher defines. As a result, in the end of the class, the child defines. But in outcome-based learning, that is not the outcome. In outcome-based learning, what is needed is teacher is giving different cues and different questions, or teacher is giving some activities through which the child has to form a definition. And the teacher is suddenly saying that this is a definition of a demand. Instead of that, teacher has to give some examples, some non-examples, or teacher has to ask some questions. Teacher has to give some illustrations or some examples, or teacher can tell a story or some clues. From the student has to form their own definition, and they demonstrate the definition or they say the definition. That is called the outcome. Because it is their own, students' own. They are not, in that case, we are not filling the students with content. In outcome-based learning, we are not filling the student with the content. So we are providing proper teaching experience. So sometimes for something we are giving a brainstorm. So for brainstorming, we are giving something and we are asking the students what is the result. Say you have an opinion about something. So suppose in your class, in a BEd classroom, we can say that students, what is your opinion about OBE? So regarding OBE, teacher is asking a discussion or a group discussion, etc. What are the merits and demerits of OBE? Why OBE is curriculum is important? We are giving a discussion. So we can get so many ideas from the children, and the children has to consolidate and they have to say their own opinion, and they have to create something, and they have to say, this is my opinion. This is only, this is only we are saying obvious is essential. So that kind of outcome is coming, and that is called outcome based learning. So outcomes are clear learning results. We have to say that this is outcome. So based on that, people are preparing an essay or a concept note, etc. It is an outcome. After explaining something, or teacher is giving some learning experience to the children, and after that the students are coming out with a proper concept note, or coming out with their own opinion. They are linked with the teacher's opinion, and they are learning so many things, and out of them they create some new ideas, and that is called outcome. In a objective-based learning class, teacher is explaining demand and the child is repeating this 2 or 3 times. Teacher is explaining, teacher writing in the board, and at the end of the class, teacher up the board and ask what you need reading. Then the children is asking, repeating the same thing. Here, this is not happening. Teacher is providing proper learning experience. Teacher is providing some materials in the classroom, and teacher is saying these are the resources. And based on these resources, you have to create a conclusion about what is demand and what are the components, or what is a theory of demand, how demand theory works. Because it is giving a situation. In this situation, how this theory works. Those students are come out with their concept note, or they are come out with their own opinions, their own answers. That is called outcome-based education, or that is called the outcome. That is why outcomes are clear learning results that the teacher wants students to demonstrate at the end of a significant learning experience. So in a classroom, teacher is giving so many learning experience. So in every time teacher is for teaching new concept, teacher is giving a new learning experience. So after completing that new learning experience, students come out with their own ideas, and that are the clear learning outcomes. Outcomes are what learners can actually do with what they know and what have learned. So outcomes is what learners can do. So suppose in languages or in mathematics, we are giving a problem to the children, and children are solving the same problem. That is not outcome based learning. So with that particular aspect, they can solve their own problems, or problems related in that particular area in which they can solve all the problems related to that particular aspect. That is called outcome based learning. What actually they can do after completing that particular topic. Or they are the applications, whatever they learn, they can apply it in a new situation. Using that, they can create something that is called outcome-based learning. So instead of mere repetition of what they are learned, with their previous knowledge, with what learning experiences they get from their own resources, they are thinking and they are producing a new thinking that can be applied in a similar situation or in a new situation, and that is called the outcomes. This means that outcomes are actions and performances that embody and reflect learners' competency using the content, information, ideas, and tools successfully. Suppose they are learning something here, they can apply it in a different situation. So we are saying that suppose a person is how to ride a bicycle, he can have a balance. Then he can apply it while getting a bike, he can ride a bike using the same principle. Or when the person is driving a car, he can have a heavy vehicle, he can apply the same principle in somewhere. So the same principle in somewhere, and he can do it in a novel way, that is called the outcome based. So whatever they learn from the content and information and ideas and tools, they can use it in their actions and performances in different situations, and that is called the outcome. So, in order to learning outcomes, educators must use the observable action verb like describe, explain, apply, analyze, evaluate, design, or produce, rather than vague or hidden demonstration. Now understand, believe, appreciate, imagine, and think. So in earlier, if you are aware about the objective-based education, in which we are using the term understand, believe, appreciate, imagine, think. Now we are using action verbs. That is, child can describe. the laws of learning, or child can explain the laws of learning. Child can apply, he can analyze the content, he can evaluate, he can design something new, he can produce something new. So while defining learning outcomes, for that, learning outcomes is something related to Bloom's taxonomy. Otherwise, the Bloom's taxonomy of learning levels is widely accepted today, designated to formulate the learning. So when you understand Bloom's taxonomy, then only you can understand what exactly the learning outcome. Outcomes of learning means as a result of learning, what in measurable, observable terms you can say that is actionable. You are learning something and you can describe that. If you learn something, you can explain that. So if you learn something, you have to analyze that. If you learn some situation, you can analyze the situation. If you learn something, you can apply it in your real life. And if you learn something, some values you can evaluate. And if you learn something, you can design it properly. If you learn something, you can design it. Or produce, etc. That are called learning outcomes. So, in order to understand learning outcomes, there comes the importance of Bloom's taxonomy. When you understand Bloom's taxonomy, then only you can understand what are learning outcomes. Outcome means what we are getting here that comes the performance and skills, and learning outcomes are outcomes as a result of learning. Outcome and learning outcome are same in education. So, in order to understand learning outcomes, you have to understand what is revised Bloom's taxonomy is very, very essential.